Parliamentary Updates.
Training of participants for the 16th National Youth Parliament continued at the Office of the Parliament with developing debating skills and techniques and the selection of constituencies and portfolios. The students will argue for or against the private motion that calls on the government to amend all the requisite legislation to decriminalize the possession of small amounts of marijuana for medicinal or recreational use. On October 3rd, former temporary Senator Mr. Nikoli Edwards addressed the students on developing proper debating skills. He encouraged participants to build credibility with their audience, use social media for good and challenge institutions and authority. He also said that while researching, choose your team well and get facts from credible sources. Mr. Edwards reminded students that the background work is just as exciting as being at the foreground, and that forming good allies is key to success as no one exists by themselves. Afterwards, Member of Parliament for Moruga, Tableland, Dr. Lovell Francis, reviewed the history of Trinidad and Tobago with students, reinforcing that the Parliament is the seat of democracy and as such should be treated with respect. He also encouraged the students to speak confidently in their delivery. He reminded them that ideas, whether good or bad, are powerful. The much-anticipated selection of portfolios was done on October 10th. All students were invited to randomly draw for their constituencies and ministerial portfolios. Some notable positions were Zion Freeman of El Dorado East Secondary School as Marshal of the Parliament, Tara Harilal of Cipriani College as Speaker of the House, Dana Dukwa of Holy Faith Convent, Couva as Prime Minister, and Maya London of St. Anthony's College as Leader of the Opposition. After government and opposition sides were settled, participants were addressed by former National Youth Parliamentarian Mr. Isaiah Eastman. Mr. Eastman, who is now a second lieutenant in the Trinidad and Tobago Regiment, was the Speaker of the House in the 10th National Youth Parliament. He spoke to participants about the role of the Speaker and the standing orders and the respect that must be shown to the office holder.
What you are supposed to do as a Speaker of the House is from the time you hear something out of order, you're supposed to bring it up. From the time you see something happening that's not supposed to be happening, two members standing on their feet, you're supposed to nip it in the bud, because the Speaker of the House is the presiding officer. The Speaker of the House is the one who clearly defines the decorum of the House, of the chamber. And what you are supposed to do is that you're supposed to keep everyone in check. And you're supposed to be impartial. You can't have any friends. You can't have any oaths to write your friend there is on the opposition side or on the government side, and they're saying, right, whatever she say, I'm doing. You're supposed to be very, very impartial.
Mr. Eastman also reminded the students of the privilege of being allowed to participate in such an auspicious event. He impressed upon them that they will be representing much more than themselves on the day and beyond.
In the real world, it takes a citizen to be a parliamentarian, right? In the real world, not only your name or the person that you represent, but you represent your school. You represent Mr. and Mrs. Asun. You represent your family, right? Your representation doesn't only start from what you just pulled out of a boxing. It starts from the day you were born. It starts from the day that you were selected to come here. Representation goes beyond anything you can imagine. This uniform that I wear does not just represent khaki. It's a khaki uniform and it has nice shiny buttons. It represents years of training, hard work. Men who died in 1990 to save our country. It represents something. Your uniform that you wear, your school that you rep, represents something. So when you stand up and you speak on the 12th of November, you're not representing yourself. It's not only yourself you're standing up and saying, well, yeah, this is just me, marijuana, no marijuana. I just want to get this thing over with because I was selected. But you're representing thousands of people behind you. And you are creating a pathway for thousands of people in front of you.
Of note for this year's edition is the participation of young persons from the Blind Welfare Association of Trinidad and Tobago and the St. Dominic's Children's Home. The annual National Youth Parliament is hosted under the auspices of the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association. This year's first sitting will be held on November 12th. Stay tuned for more parliamentary updates. For more information, visit our website at www.ttparliament.org and follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram.
Parliamentary updates.